Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's a great honor and pleasure for me, as you can see, we are here dressed in our official uniform. And so, my name is Mrs. Maureen, presents my association called the Cameroonian. We are represented across 8 countries. These girls who are school dropouts, may be able to empower themselves and learn some trades which will help them to be able to sustain themselves in the future. So that's a brief introduction of who I am.
Very beautiful. Just a quick question. How did you get into beauty pageants? I'm very curious. How does this begin?
I was encouraged by the fact that my late mom used to be a former beauty queen in my country. At the time, I was still a baby, but when I grew up, I came to learn that she was a former beauty queen. I saw pictures, and I participated in a few beauty pageants while a student. And when I came to Europe, I said, okay, why not use this experience which I have to groom other young girls to be able to give back to the community. It's all about giving back to the community. And I can say that, I can proudly say that one of the first beauty queens of my very first pageant, who was a student, is the first young Cameroonian at the age of 25, after graduating from college, from university, with a bachelor's degree. She was unemployed, but we managed to raise funds for her to set up her own company. And today, she is a young CEO with about 40 employees. So, yeah, so this is where I got my motivation from.
That's actually such a beautiful story. I also see many beauty queens in the crowd, so maybe people can come to you and sign up afterwards. So nice. And last but definitely not least, Ms. Pauline, I would absolutely love to hear who you are and where you come from and what your motivation are here today.
Like we always say, praise the Lord. So I want to thank the Excellency, our Excellency the Ambassador, for inviting our association. She has already done a lot of work by introducing the association, so I don't have to do that again. And I want to thank everybody that is here. My name is Agbopodeni Mengot Eyon. I'm a wife of Mr. Obenefonde. I live in Germany. So what do? I am an evangelist of God. My husband and I, we have a parish in Wilhelm and the Hall. And Nigerians, Cameroonians, when they have need, mostly when the immigrants come, like every time when they come, from Ukraine, there were almost 10. They come to us to seek for information because they don't understand the system. So we give them information. I take them personally to the immigration. Sometimes they sleep in my sitting room. So now a lot of them are doing well. They are fine. And also, I study banking. And actually, that is not what I'm doing now in Germany anyway. I found myself these last years, like 7 years ago, I was being pushed. I don't know, maybe it's the Lord, to take good care, to care for people, to help. And that idea just came while I prayed and I took my book part and I started writing. That is a vision that I should build a school for teenage mothers that have children, and because of they don't have means, so their children are just there, they themselves don't have nothing, they go to farm with their mother, they come back, and some of them die early because they don't have care. So I wrote everything and I put it. And I was just praying. Then last year, there is a family, one of them, a lady, not married, 4 children, was just pushed out by the man, and she had no place to go. And the council of the city, the man who had the home, went and brought the council, and they were throwing her things outside and she was crying. And then, I don't know how she got my number, then she called me and she said, my things are outside, I don't know what to do. I am not doing a great job in Germany. I'm also doing just jobs. I don't have money, but something deep in me said, do something for that family. And I said, I was tired, and suddenly I called one woman. I said, do you have a place in your home where you can keep this lady for some few months? I will be paying. So I paid the rent for almost 6 months. Then one day, I just got this idea that why can't you just build a place and put this lady in, because I have a small portion of land. I don't have money, like save money to care for these things. So every month when I get my salary, I brought out 200 euros apart. So we started like that with a lady. She was very honest. And we built 3 rooms and a parlor, kitchen and a toilet for them. As I am saying now, her mother, her entire family, they are living in that house. That house is really saving life. And this lady, thank you. This lady, we did not end there. I said, I am moved to help the war victims. I don't know where the ideas were just coming. And I just said, the name of the foundation will be Grace and Faith Foundation. And she said, yes, I think it's good. And I said that you need to learn. She went to school, she had a certificate for that. Then suddenly, we started taking care of 8 patients. So we have families that are 8 patients that no care. So I have to take care of them, send money for their medication, then also take care of the war victims that have been raped and they have children, they have trauma and all these things. So the only little thing I could do is to give them food at that moment. So I will remove 200 euro from my salary. I say, go and buy rice, buy oil, buy clothes, buy what you can. Visit them from home to home. Teach them what you have learned in the school. But thank God, now that zeal and that vision is really coming clear and clear. But later, or maybe some few days, I would like to send all the plans I've written for every department to the Excellency, because she said she would really like to have them. So, so that she can see, and we see how we can help these girls and their children. And the only help I can also give is I have land, if we want to invest in the land, for where they can go and learn, because the teenage mother thing I was writing is that to teach them something they can do with their hands, that they can earn a living and be empowered by themselves, that they will not depend on a man. and take care of their children. So how they will go to school, how they will be followed up, how they will be established. That is the plan I have. And what to do with their children when they are in school. That's the future plan. So these are my own initiative that God has put in me. And it comes every day. I just pray that I get help to help them.
That's so beautiful. It also speaks to, I think, the power of religious institutions when sort of filling the gap where things are working, and I think that's a really powerful story. We're going to move on to the next part of the conversation where we want to learn a little bit about how each of you view the topic of women empowerment. And you said something earlier, Ms. Ingrid, that I think is interesting, that oftentimes people think that problems are happening all the way across the world, but they can be happening right in their own home, like this. And so my question to you is, what threats and obstacles do you see for women and girls in your world right now? So speaking to the Hague maybe.
Yes, we do see a lot of people struggling with their finances, and we also see a lot of troubles with migrants in the Hague. And that's why we started a special group of volunteers from Sub-Saharan Africa. One of them is sitting right there, really. We trained African migrants to be a budget coach to help people from their own community. And what we see is a lot of people who are not properly documented, have no rights because they don't have the proper documents. They have a lack of financial autonomy and a goal. I think especially for women, because I heard a story from Pauline about this teenage mother. We see a lot of women also kicked out of their house with children, kicked on the street, have no proper documents, and they just wander through the streets of The Hague, and it hurts. So this program to help these migrants, we try to build trust first, and what we also want to do is we want to empower the people, like for example, if you get married, don't only marry for church, marry for the law, because then you have rights. That is how it works in the Netherlands. So we see a lot of cultural differences. It's hard when you have a community, but the community, for example, in The Hague, it's very strong and it's very useful. You have always people to lean on. But the other side is the pressure from the community. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good, but that's the struggle I find people in, and especially women.
Well, it's very important issues, and now, I also think I want to ask this question to everybody. So this is very interesting. I think that we should learn more about STEC if we have the chance to really engage with it. And now, Ms. Ulmer, like you said, you're studying so many different topics within human rights. Can you sort of think about that perspective with the question, what sort of threats are you seeing to girls worldwide, women and girls?
So I think what I've been thinking about a lot recently as well is the growing threat of misogyny in mutated forms, I think, is what we're seeing now. And it was the head of UN Women, I think, said last week that misogyny is on the rise. We're seeing it in so many different aspects of life and sort of filtering down, where we thought progress was kind of happening, we thought we were moving forward in a certain way, and we're seeing in a lot of Western countries as well, like slide towards really horrible values that are perpetuating violence and hatred attitudes towards women and young girls, and especially in online space. I think this is obviously becoming such a huge problem that we didn't really foresee. The rapid rise of misogynistic spaces on the internet. Kind of don't need to talk too much about Andrew Tate and things like that, just because I hate it so much. But these kinds of people are, their views are out there, and young children, any gender, young boys are being impacted about this more. They have access to these views in a way that we didn't. Even my age, I had a bit of time before the internet, which was really good, but young kids don't have that anymore, and I think this is the main issue that we are seeing. These attitudes are going to then filter out into how we interact with one another, how men interact with women, and therefore what kind of policies are put in place, where funding is going to be channeled, what laws are going to be put in place. I think unless we address the root of the issue, which is the root of misogynistic attitudes, then these other kind of problems won't really, everything else is just going to be like a little kind of stopgap solution, like putting a band-aid and make a bigger problem. Like we need to kind of address the root of the issue. So I think that's what the biggest challenge is.
Yeah, that's a really interesting topic because it's applicable everywhere. Digital spaces are becoming more and more polarized as well, and progress is never linear. As soon as we take those steps forward, as you say, we really take steps back. It can be very, very frustrating in that sense. And now, Ms. Marie, I want to hear a little bit more from your perspective. Because what we are trying to discuss here is, from your perspective, you were saying you do these beauty pageants, and you really want women to find a source within their identity, within their own strength. What are some of the threats that you see women and girls facing?
Threats of violence on women. This is one of the greatest aspects that has actually been hindering women empowerment. The fact that women are the weaker gender and they are subjects. They are the weaker gender and they are subject to different kinds of violence from the men fall. It intimidates a lot of women and hinders them. It hinders them from coming out, in their full self, to be able to perform the way they would have loved to be. And again, there is also the issue of equal opportunities for women. I think a great work has to be done in that domain to ensure that women get equal opportunities as the men, especially in the pay gap. Women are underpaid as compared to the men for. A woman who can be doing the same job as a man, but they don't get equal pay. Some countries are actually working really hard in closing that gap, but I think a great deal of work still has to be done in that domain to ensure that women will have equal opportunities as the men.
Yeah, thank you so much. And also the same question to you, Ms. Pauline. I mean, you spoke about the need for religious institutions, for faith to help empower women as well. But can you talk about some of these threats a little bit more that you see happening to women and girls?
Yeah. I will talk on the spiritual aspect of it. Because when we look at many things that are happening, we see that the foundations are wrong from the beginning. And when the foundation is wrong, what can a man do? A man turns back to the master of the foundations, which is God. So, my question when I heard women empowerment and equality, my question was, this equality thing, is it that we want to be equal with men or whatsoever? But when I go through the scriptures, I discover to my own perspective, equality and empowerment of a woman is to empower one another to be up to the level where they cannot be, they will not be a liability again to their husbands. Praise the Lord. Sorry I say that, but we always say that when we do. So, equality is not about comparing with a man. That the scripture did not say so. A woman, from the beginning, the real duty of a woman, one of them, which I use because there are about three, one of them I use is helper. The Lord said he will make a wife for the man to be his helpmate. And a helper cannot help if he doesn't have what to help with. So, empowerment comes in to let that woman bring out what God has put in them, which is God. See, a woman is so strong. A woman has everything in her put in by God to change things, even nations. If a woman can change the decision of God, it is written in Jeremiah 9, verse 17 to 19, that the Lord was about to destroy the land of Israel. And he asked the prophet to call the wailing women to wail for him. So when he will hear, he will change his mind and save the nation. So a woman is more stronger. But what can bring that strength out? What can bring those gifts out is the love of the man. When a man loves his wife, you bring the beauty of that woman out. And you bring the qualities out. But because the foundation is wrong, we get married today, tomorrow we divorce, because the foundation is wrong. Women are suffering because the foundation is wrong. So, for me, as a spiritual person who preach the gospel, I think we need to address these things, even as we are helping these ladies to be empowered. We should also teach them and address these situations. And if we do these things, we will see that we will not have problems like what she said, like homes getting troubled, homes being broken, homes being challenged with all these things. So for me, the foundation, we need to go back there and try to study. It doesn't matter if you are a Christian or not. Look at it. Because a woman can live with a man that is the worst man on earth. A woman can live with such a man. Abigail, in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 25, she lived with her husband who was called Nadab. The word means fool. But he was so arrogant, so pop-up, rich, that this woman, wisdom.
Oh, this socket.
So even if a woman is facing a situation like the young ladies that we need to empower, we need to put something also in them which is spiritual and make them know that what they are going through is wrong, that there is a way and somebody who can change it for them. And through the help of God and the help, see, even if we are helping, we don't help by our power. We don't help because we have much to help. No, we help because God has put it in us. We have this sympathy, this feeling, this is a gift. You can't pass when you see somebody crying. So the challenges are also there. When you don't have money, like I was saying, when I was keeping the 200 aside from my salary, there are days I did not eat. There are days I couldn't eat a right meal. I would just make rice with oil, put small crayfish, that is canal, and eat. Because I had a goal. I must help that family. Because I was touched. So there are challenges like that. There are also challenges like men. I am very sorry for every man that is here. Please love your wife. You have only two duties God gave you: to tend the garden and love your wife. Tending the garden is to work, bring in what can support your family. Then love your wife, because if you love your wife, you love yourself, and you are bringing the beauty and the capability of God in that woman. Because when a man falls and his wife is down, he is up. When he falls, he goes right down. But when he helps his woman to reach at the level of his shoulder, when he falls, he ends here, and it's easy to go up. Because that woman, like I see my mother do, she will do her small business, sell small things, she will always save. And when the father comes and says, it is too much, I can't pay this, and that is wrong, if we don't do, we don't do. She will tell my father, I am going to borrow from my neighbor, but it is not borrow from the neighbor, it is under the bed. She will go and remove the money and support her husband. It is when a man loves his wife that these things can happen. And the home now will be, you will not know who is bringing what in. You will not understand, because the wife have something doing. The husband has something, he's loving his wife cannot hide anything from him. So please, that is just my plea, that we should address, even as we are helping, we should also address the foundation. There are many, many things if we want to see what is the cause of these things. Families are sometimes the cause of it. You give your daughter to an old man, and then what do you think? 2, 3 children, the lady will not want to stay with that old man anymore. She will go out, and then there are a lot of things. So please, we should also put the aspect of God when we are helping to teach them too, that these things are real, they happen, that they can take heart, and God will help.
Thank you so much. Now, okay, we talked about some of the things that are affecting women and girls. And one of the things that we like to do here at ISS is we like to think about hope. What next? And not asking that question from a simplistic way, but really thinking, what are the small actions that we can do to address some of these problems? If Ms. Pauline, you can give the mic to Ms. Maureen. What do you have to say to that? What are some of the things and opportunities we can take to help women and girls? Of course. This is, yes. Just so we can hear you now. Yeah.
Honorable diplomats, esteemed professionals, distinguished guests, students, and all esteemed guests, it is an honor to stand before you today on this significant occasion, the International Women's Day. This day is more than just a celebration. It is a moment of reflection, a call to action, and a reaffirmation of our shared commitment to a world where women's rights are not just ideals, but lived realities. Throughout history, women have stood at the forefront of progress, challenging norms, breaking barriers, and shaping societies. Yet, despite these achievements, the fight for equality remains unfinished. The challenges are real: economic disparity, limited leadership opportunities, and persistent gender-based violence. But the solutions are within our grasp through progressive policies, inclusive leadership, and unwavering advocacy. Today, as we engage in this conversation, let us recognize that women's rights are not just a women's issue, they are a human rights issue. They are the foundation of just, equitable, and thriving societies. And so, let us explore where we stand, what remains to be done, and how each of us, whether as policymakers, educators, business leaders, diplomats, or individuals, can drive meaningful change. I invite women from all walks of life to join us in this journey of reflection, dialogue, and action, because when we empower women, we empower nations. Women's equality is not merely a moral imperative, it is a social and economic necessity. Studies have consistently shown that when women are given equal opportunities in education, employment, and leadership, societies thrive. Yet, despite global progress, disparities exist. Education as a foundation for equality. Education is a cornerstone for empowerment. Countries that prioritize girls' education see significant social and economic benefits. Case study, Rwanda. Rwanda has made remarkable strides in closing the gender gap in education. With strong policies promoting girls' schooling, Rwanda boasts one of the highest rates of female enrollment in primary, secondary, and high school education in the whole of Africa. Today, over 50% of Rwandan parliamentarians are women, the highest percentage in the world. An applause for Rwanda, please. Bangladesh, through initiatives like stipends for girls in secondary schools and free education up to the 12th grade, Bangladesh has significantly increased female literacy and school completion rates. Economic empowerment and equal pay. Equal pay and access to economic opportunities are essential for true gender equality. Some countries are taking bold steps to close the wage gap and promote financial independence. Equal representation in leadership leads to policies that are more inclusive and beneficial to all. Violence against women remains one of the biggest barriers to gender equality. Some countries have taken significant steps in legal protection and social reforms. Conclusion. While these examples show progress, much work remains. Women's equality requires sustained efforts from governments, businesses, and society as a whole. Policies must be reinforced, cultural barriers must be challenged, and opportunities must be accessible to all, regardless of gender. Thank you.
Please, Ms. Maureen, that was a wonderful response to that question. You provided so many different examples of how different countries are dealing with it, building women up and providing them opportunities. And we see the real impact when women are in leadership. And thank you so much for that. Yeah.
That my country of origin, Cameroon, has made significant progress in that as well. Today, we have a handful of women in the government of my country, and an example is the ambassador to the Netherlands. So Please, an applause for Cameroon as well. We are making great strides in what they need.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can absolutely clap to that. I see, there's some food warming up, but the event is still going on. I also want to hear from the audience what you guys think about this topic. Ms. Ingrid, can you answer that question as well? What are some small actions that we can do?
Yeah, I think it's very easy to feel discouraged and hopeless in the face of all the pressing problems facing our society today. So I think what I do to help you feel a bit more hopeful is you've got to focus on the small things, right? On what your immediate community are doing, on what the people around you are doing. Like just here, we have 4 women working in completely different ways, in different communities, and doing what they can. And that's also how I feel at ISS, working in the development space. You see people are here because they want to make a difference, they want to do something good, and you've got to focus on what it is you can do in your community step by step. There's only a certain amount you can do in a day, and like that's how change kind of happens slowly. So even just by like having conversations with people around you, I know one big thing for me is having conversations with my family, with my parents, with my extended family from older generations who maybe don't have the same outlook on gender equality and women's empowerment as I do. So the fact that hopefully each conversation I have with them, I'm helping to change attitudes, change outlook on these kinds of things. And yeah, I think there was one kind of poet that I like who says that, everything around me is on fire, the world is on fire, but everyone around me is doing something good, and that's something that I believe in, which I think is something that really resonates with me and brings me hope.
Yeah, for me, I think it's important for women these days to be independent. And that means you can also be independent within a relationship. It doesn't have to be that you are by yourself. You can be independent in your relationship by have financial autonomy, you have a job or a voluntary job. It doesn't matter, but every woman has a power, a strength, and have something that you're good at. Most people, most women think they cannot do anything, or they think, yeah, maybe I can, but there's always something, a reason why they don't. And I would say to these women, please find your creativity and use it. Be financial autonomous. Let us help you with that, and also make sure that your foundation is right. If you find yourself in a situation with domestic violence, with sexual violence, it is not okay. Even if you are in a community that says, yeah, just deal with it. No, it's not okay. So do something about it and speak up for yourself and speak up for your rights. I see that in my work, and that is how we empower our volunteers. If they find their bodies in a situation like that, they have to come to us and we find a solution. I think that's about it.
Thank you so much. It really starts at home. It's small actions. It's not really that big that we have to do things. And now I really want to also direct it to the audience. Is there anyone who has something to say about that? An example of a small action? Don't be shy. It's okay. We're all a community here. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Samara. I'm from Indonesia. I live here since 2019. I would say that my community was mostly surrounded with students because I came here to do my bachelor, and fortunately I also finished my master altogether within 4 years. I would say, despite of the progressiveness, if I can say that, within the Western community, I feel like what is lacking with the definition of empowerment is, okay, sorry, let me rephrase it. Right now, coming from quite a privileged stance as a student, we say that we should be feel empowered, and that means we should be a girl boss, we should be an independent woman, we should be equal with men. But I don't think this is how we should define equality, and I think this is what's quite missing in today's how do you say that, rhetorics about empowerment. That's why I quite recently with your saying as well, as I'm quite nervous actually, this is my first time speaking out, I just wish that people would kind of like center back again with the nurturing community when we're talking about how it is to be a woman. I think that right now we are just like pushing women to be, you have to do yourself, and it's all self-help, it's all isolation, and I don't think this is what basically the center of the women empowerment communication should be about. So I just hope that this part of the discussion is not also like being left out in the name of independence, and still again, with every foundation of society, family should be like the base of it, and that's my opinion about this, and I hope it's not erased from this quite progressive country out.
No, but that's the point. That's what we should do. We should talk about it, and that's why I want to turn it to you guys. Would you like to share also?
Yes, my name is Adenike. I'm South African and Nigerian, and a small thing I've seen this week that has inspired me is in Nigeria, the country where my father is from. There's the Senator Natasha Akpoti, who has been sexually harassed by the head of the Senate committee, and this has now turned into a very big international incident. There are interviews of her on BBC, etc., which you can go and watch if you want to have the details of the case. And a small thing that inspired me this week is I got on Twitter and I saw a young Nigerian woman protesting against sexual harassment. In Nigeria, even though it's one of the African countries with the largest GDP, I think we have one of the lowest rates of female representation in politics. In the Senate, it's 3.4% or something like that. I don't know the exact number. So seeing one of the only women who make it up to like that level of politics and sexually harassed is really disheartening. But I felt motivated by all the young women who said, actually, no, we're not in our name. We don't care that this man is powerful, and protested and put money to go and speak to women in markets about how this is wrong. And yeah.
I love hearing from the young women today. We want to hear from a man. Yes, this is wonderful. I love hearing from women, but I feel like men, we want to hear what you have to say as well.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm an ambassador in ISS. I'm also from Jakarta, Indonesia, but I'm currently based in Bonn, in Germany, studying Masters of Ecumenical Studies, or Masters of Theology, basically, at Bonn University. I actually want to ask a question, if that's okay. Right, so when we talk about women or womanhood, we cannot preclude ourselves from talking about gender diversity other than gender equality. You know, it's like another level, another dimension of gender justice, which is basically based on the acknowledgement of diversity and not just equality. And my question will touch upon, you know, in your activism or in your work, basically, have you found an intersection between, for example, in your work with the migrant community, did you also find intersections between like gender diversity and also their marginality as migrant community? And probably, you know, I'm also going to touch upon the issue of intersectionality. Is that also something that appears in your work and also in your activism? because I can see how closely related the issues are. For example, when we talk about gender diversity, like from our experiences in Indonesia, we've seen stories whereby lesbian women, for example, are facing the so-called corrective rape, which is part of conversion practices. And I prefer not to say conversion therapy, as many people put it, because there's nothing therapeutic about those cruel practices. So yeah, that's my first question. And my second question is probably directed at you, Reverend, because we pretty much belong to the same field, pretty much doing theology, and you as a pastor, I'm also as a theological student. My question will be more also about, have you also devised some hermeneutical strategies as well in response to, for example, the references that many people make, to Bible verses that are more like, dehumanizing towards women in general? Is there any strategy that you offer us? Thank you.
Okay, I hope you caught the question, but we can always rephrase it.
Can you rephrase it, please? I got some.
And maybe as you ask the question to
Just the question,
find some topics as well, just for everyone to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the question is there any hermeneutical strategy, for example, that you offer in your work, especially when engaging with men, basically, in order to promote equality? Like, for example, in my experience, I used to chair a research center in my seminary back home, the Jakarta Theological Seminary. So we also form group discussions where we discuss the Bible, and we go under the name reading the Bible with a new eye, with a different lens. So there we include trauma perspectives, for example, perspectives from trauma studies, and also we touch upon sexual violence as well, and how to reread or to reinterpret Bible verses that also portray violent dimension over there. And I'm just wondering and kind of curious about what approaches have you probably offered, to your community, coming from the hermeneutic. Thank you.
Biblically, if I want to give some tips on that, men can help women, like you said, to be in equality. First, I said love in a home, right? When a man loves a woman, it makes a woman to respond with peace. And how can we help a man help that woman, or a woman, or girls that to step up and be equal or equality, is by also loving them and also listening to them, because before you help a woman or a wife or a teenage, you have to listen to them. What is their story? First, you have to hear them, because you don't know what they have gone through. You don't know what they are passing through. So when you hear them, then you can give them your advice. To my own section, I stand spiritually to encourage them, give them hope that their situation cannot be the same. God can change it, and not only change by prayer, by action. What can you do? What do you think you can? Because people are born with their gifts. People are talented. But if they don't help them to bring it out, you will not know. So, if you hear them, you ask them simply, what can you do? What do you think you can do to change it yourself? I know ladies that said, I want to learn how to sew, to make clothes. That I love it. She has never been to school, but she is a super. Still is, she can bring style from anything. She's gifted. So you can help such a person to also step up and be able follow up, provide for them when they finish learning, because if they have the zeal, they will have the zeal to learn. You teach them, but most of the time, from the places I come from, they don't have means to help. But thank God today we have organizations so they can send such children to school where they can learn. We can do it not in a school, because when we say in a school, then it becomes like professional. We may not have that money. We can see a local seamstress or a male and said, these children want to stay with you to learn this thing. You make it, they will be learning 3 of them. After about 1 year, they are perfect, they have a small certificate, then you establish them. They may be in a village, because I talk mostly of women that did not even go to school. Women that stop school at a level. Because if we talk about women that have this degree, they go here, their parents were rich maybe, or they have a scholarship. Because some countries, they don't have free education. You must pay. So me, I'm based on women that, like you are saying, like very low level, and how to bring them up. Like I said, if they say they want to learn, that is the passion they have. When they have a passion, they will make it good. They learn it even to a local tailor, and then they establish them. To establish them, what do they need? Just 2 machines to sew. They throw this machine in the world where we are. I know in Germany, a sister who were just buying second-hand machines. She will load them in a container, pay with her money. The thing will go back home, they will repair them, then they will give them to girls. I hope I'm responding to your question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So you don't have to make it big if you are not able to, but you can also do it from small. You can teach them to learn hair. The school, I had a vision to build without money. What was the Lord telling me? He was telling me, build a school for girls. And the name of the school he gave me was the Redeemed Daughters of Zion. That means daughters that need to be redeemed. From what? From the poor to a level. And what do I have to do with the school? To create little technical jobs like sewing, hairdressing, massage, all those things, little things that somebody can learn for 1 year, establish the person, and it makes money. And it's by yourself, you can take care of your family. So that's what I think that can work in the lower level rural areas for those women. Those that have gone to school, that have degrees, they are talking of molestation in the office area, but what about those ones that they don't even know what molestation means? Even when they are molested, they don't know what it means. How would they deal with them? So it's just to talk to them. And when they say what they want, help them. Because you know better.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, listen, the food is hot. It's time to also dance. But before we end the evening, can you please give a round of applause for the panelists here today? Thank you all so much. I know that there was also probably more questions, more statements. I'm so sorry that I missed you. But I also want to give a really, 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 really warm thank you to Her Excellency for approaching us to do an event here at ISS. Thank you so much. This is a beautiful connection for us to have, and we hope to do many, many more things together. Thank you for bringing these wonderful panelists to us as well, and putting us together here in this space. Now, it's time to eat. It's time to enjoy. Have fun.
C'est incroyable, moi je savais pas qu'il y avait autant de Camerounais ici. Non, mais c'est un truc de dingue. La dame à droite, elle est camerounaise ou pas? La dame tout à droite qui a parlé de la Bible, elle est camerounaise ou pas? You're English or?
Not the last one,
Okay.
yeah, she said Cameroonian.
Okay. Moi je suis burkinabé quoi.
Oh?
From Burkina.
Burkina Faso. Oh, okay. Nice.
For white people.
Oh. Nice. I'm live.
I need to speak with her.
I'm live. Say hello to my family. Say hello.
Hello.
Now the black I'm feeling.
And then we'll call you off to grab a plate of food.
Sorry, no, you want Bogavanga, no? You remember me? Yeah, crazy guy, no? Not a lot
For their family meeting, Women's of Substance. A very big family meeting with all the important personalities. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I don't come in 10 times. Even though you say, hey, this person, drink and dog. Even though I don't say my name. It's a man plus of Jennifer. It's a little bit of a Jennifer. I'm looking for my girl called Jennifer. Oh, I wanna get called Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer. I'm looking for my girl called Jennifer. I said you know me that the girl called Jennifer. I'm looking for my girl called Jennifer. Happy weekend, Shamayo, welcome. Welcome, like the video share. Jennifer. I got more chumps about that. I get for the phone for you before I get for charge. I'm free to the like she no king. Why? Ayo, Shana, I got you too. Shana, ayo. Yes, so happy weekend. This is for no one. They only marry woman. Running to you, running